Hi, and welcome to Monday of week 2 of your senior year in English class. I'm going to walk you through some of the things we did in class today. So first, I'm on Schoology for all of this. Of course, our Zoom link, and then our agenda. Remember, you can always find out what happened more specifically in class by looking at this weekly objectives. And then, of course, the folders below that include all the materials for the days that you missed. So here's day 4. You'll see all of the work we did as well as our sentence stem that's going to be due in your Google Doc entries for today. On to the details. So we did a breakout just to say hello, and that's something we'll start doing to build in the structure for our daily discussions. So that starts in a couple days. I won't worry about it yet. We looked at the bonus work for Schoology, so I'm going to click on that and you can see what it is. Basically, in this class, you're going to have a lot of choice work options. As it says here, these are optional. You can do as many or few or none as you like. It's really just about honoring the ways that you as a senior are already reading and writing in your life and trying to give you a space to get some credit for that. I don't do this for other years, but by senior year, I just feel like y'all are reading and writing in really specialized ways. And you can come to me and say, look, I am reading a book. I'm reading this young adult author. I'm trying to get through all of their stuff. I'm on book 7, and I want you to know that I'm reading. And I'll say, great, why don't we make that a choice work assignment, and we'll plan to meet in a month and talk about the book that you read. And that will be your assignment. It's very flexible. Again, it's optional. You don't need to do any of this. If you want to just do the assignments for the class and just do those daily entries for now and then the bigger assessments when I assign them, that's fine. But this is a way to honor some of the work that you have already in your life. You'll see leading a breakout discussion can get you 1 extra credit point for that day. Everything else is flexible depending on what it is you choose to do. Okay, so after bonus work, which look at that document in full if it's interesting to you and you want to start playing around with different assignments there. We went to Power School and looked at how I code things there. So I'm going to take you to a fake class, or they're not fake, but they're my sophomore seminar, and I don't really know what that is yet, so we'll just use them as guinea pigs. All of my assignments on a daily basis for you are worth 6 points. 3 points for grammar, 3 points for understanding. I have not, until this point in my career, been such a stickler for grammar, but I'm going to be this year because I really want you to emerge feeling excellent about your writing. So the 3 points for grammar, it has to be perfect, and I'll work with you and comment and offer advice about how to make it perfect. Then 3 points for understanding, which just shows the depth of what it is that you read and reflected upon. So say you get 6 points, good for you. You get a 6 out of 6. You might sometimes see this check mark. A check mark just means I got it, I haven't had a chance to grade it. That is a nice indicator for you that I'm working on it. I might similarly put a missing little box, and that means it's not late, you don't have a 0, I just don't have it, and I need it by the end of this grading period. We are going to do things on a week basis, so all of your work for the week is going to be due to me by 9 a.m. the following Monday. That gives you the weekend to get through it. And so by Monday at 9 a.m., if I get in there and I still don't see that thing that was missing, I'll leave the missing mark, but then I'll add a 0. The zeros are not permanent. That's just my message to you to say, I don't have this, I need this, I can't review your work there, I can't tell how you're doing with the skill until you do it. And then you can say, okay, I did it, Miss Tegan, it's in there. And I'll say, looks great, you got a 5. So all of those codes are just my way of communicating with you since we can't always talk to each other. The biggest thing I wanted you to know is that missing sign. It might appear in the middle of the week because as I collect things, I need to have a code for myself to let myself know, oh yeah, you've checked, it wasn't there yet. Go back and check again. Ask me if you have questions about your grade. At this stage in the school year, I really think everybody should have 100%. I want really small, quick assignments early on as we develop understandings of each other's work and my systems, especially in this new world. Okay, so that's Power School. All right, So we then signed up for interviews so I can meet with you one-on-one or two-on-one if we're in the class with Miss Loving. I'm going to make sure I do that. It's the only way I have right now to build relationships with you. And I'm really struggling with that part of this year because I love hanging out with y'all and meeting you and talking with you. And I'm really feeling the lack of it. So we'll just keep interviewing until I've gotten to talk with everybody for like 5 or 10 minutes. Okay, so then we launched our investigations unit briefly. So this whole 9 weeks is about investigations and evidence. Finding evidence for what we think something requires. It depends on what that something is. How do we know if a pilot's ready to fly an airplane? You need evidence. You need a lot of certification hours. You need a lot of approval steps to tell us that that pilot is ready to take 100 souls into an airplane and fly them around. Then there are other things that seem more opinion-based. Do nets on the back of pickup trucks save gas? What can you do to help your plants grow better in the spring? If you're planting pumpkins now in late summer, what sorts of things can you do to the soil? We have lots of collected wisdom around these sorts of things, but we don't always have evidence. And sometimes that's okay because other people have collected that evidence for us. But sometimes we're just trusting blindly. And that's where we're going to push this quarter. This last one's kind of mine as I'm a parent now. Is it better to spank kids or not to spank kids? When I was a kid growing up, there was different public and collected wisdom around that question than there is now. Why? What changed? What evidence did we collect as a society? Or did we? We often form opinions before we have evidence, and there is a problem with that. What is that problem, and how can we fix it? The case in point for today is the McDonald's case. So if you were in class, we watched a clip of John Mulaney, the stand-up comedian, talking about just the iconic McDonald's sign and how important it is to our cultural framework. We don't often associate it with coffee, but it has coffee, and I've gotten it before. And there is a famous case where a woman burned herself on that McDonald's coffee and was able to sue McDonald's and win. And she won about $2.9 million, though she only walked away with a lot less than that. She still won. So we use this case in popular discourse just to talk about frivolous lawsuits, the way that people play lawsuit lotto. Yeah, I won't do that on this video. And yet, these facts of the case are generally all that we're given. So the question that we're going to ask is, what do we feel about that? What are our reactions when we hear about this case? And then starting tomorrow, we're going to begin to complicate it. So in our groups, we discussed, what do you think about this case? When you hear of that quick fact, what's your reaction? Would you sue McDonald's if you burned yourself with coffee? We get into personal values and what you think a corporation might owe you. Maybe not that, but would you sue McDonald's if something else bad happened to you? At what point would you feel okay asking for somebody to give you money in this way? And then lastly, does that story remind you of any other lawsuits like it? Which ones? So we just discussed that a little bit in our breakout rooms. And then I sent everybody on their way to write in their big Google Doc. So an administrative note, when you have your big Google Doc open, start with the most recent work at the very top. So here, week 1 is at the bottom of the document, and then you'll go above that to write week 2, September 14 to 17, Monday. So that when you open the document, the thing that you first see is always the thing that you're working on right now. That's really important to us as we organize ourselves for this class. There's Monday, you can see today's STEM is beginning to get your opinion out there about this McDonald's case. So write this STEM 3 times. A woman won $2.9 million from McDonald's. Copy paste it, 3 separate sentences. And end each sentence with a different conjunction, because, but, and so. And you can do it, I promise. Even though you don't have all of the details of the case, this is where you're going to begin collecting your initial understanding. This is it. Not much entry, not much work. I'm still trying to get everybody organized. I'm still trying to honor that this is a new world for everybody. Get this done, get it done perfectly in terms of grammar, and you will be done with today, Monday, September 14th, entry and coursework. And that's it. We'll see you tomorrow.